So, but I want to start off with just reading a couple words from this book that I read like four books at a time, but this is one that I dove into by Neville Goddard. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Goddard. And it's called The Power of Awareness. Dope. And it's one of those fast reading books. If you're the type that doesn't really, have a long attention span for books, this is a real good one because it's only like just every chapter is 2 pages, like 1.5 pages. That's it. But wanted to share a chapter called Subjective Control, and may not seep in with everything, as I'm speaking it, because obviously it's out of context for a lot of y'all, but it may be in context for a bunch of y'all as well. So just wanted to share a couple words from this. Shout out to Ant said that they got a heat warning in Miami. Be safe. Yo, yeah, it's wild, yo. It feels crazy. Yeah, it's definitely up there. It's definitely up there. But let me share y'all these words. And you'll mess with these words as well. You'll definitely mess with these. But all right, so it's your imagination is able to do all that you ask in proportion to the degree of your attention. Your imagination is able to do all that you ask in proportion to the degree of your attention. All progress, all fulfillment of desire depend upon the control and concentration of your attention. All progress, all fulfillment of desire depend upon the control and concentration of your attention. Your attention is directed from within when your attention is directed from within when you deliberately choose what you will be preoccupied with mentally. Your attention is directed from within when you deliberately choose what you will be preoccupied with mentally. There is an enormous difference between attention directed objectively and attention directed subjectively, and the capacity to change your future depends on the latter. All right. There's an enormous difference between attention directed objectively and attention directed subjectively, and the capacity to change your future depends on the latter. When you are able to control the movements of your attention in the subjective world, you can modify or alter your life as you please. The day you achieve control of the movements of your attention in the subjective world, you are a master of your fate. And the last sentence, yeah, really hear this one. Having achieved control of the movements of your attention and having discovered the mystery hid from the ages that Christ in you is your imagination, you will assert the supremacy of imagination and put all things in subjection to it. Having achieved control of the movements of your attention and having discovered the mystery hid from the ages that Christ in you is your imagination, you will assert the supremacy of imagination and put all things in subjection to it. Now, if you're not Christian, cool. I'm not Christian. However, when I see Christ, I just see God. So therefore, this last sentence, to me, all it's saying is that when you take control of the movements of your attention, when you take control of what your focus is, then that God in you, which is your imagination, you will assert it, the supremacy of the imagination. You can control your imagination. And when we control our imaginations, we control what comes to fruition in the real world. So that just stood out to me. Wanted to share that with y'all. Um, and just start off the show like that because it just moved me. Was thinking that hopefully it would move y'all. And yo, did y'all peep? Tell me if it's sometimes I peep. So you remember when I wrote or when I read your attention is directed from within when you deliberately, yo, what do y'all think of when y'all hear the word deliberately? Is it just me or do I go back to Lion King when Mufasa, Simba is bugging when he goes to the hyena with the graveyard or whatever, the elephant graveyard with the hyenas, and he gets in trouble, and Mufasa's like, "You deliberately disobeyed me." Do y'all remember that? Every time I see deliberate, that's all I think of. But neither here nor there. Let's get to this show. All right, what are we going to talk about today?